How's it going, technology? I know. I'm doing my best geek impression. Got my calculator and pen and everything in my pocket. Anyway, that aside, speaking of technology, we're deep diving into Google Earth one last time today. And we're going to be learning about latitude and longitude. These are invisible lines that don't actually exist, but help us understand locations on the Earth's surface. This might be news to some of you guys, but think of it this way. Airplanes and ships, they even travel at night. How do they know where they're going? They use a system of latitude and longitudinal lines on our planet, along with some computers and navigational tools that use satellite images and coordinates to help them know where they're going. So I'm going to break it down for you pretty easy today, show you a couple video clips, and then I'm going to give you some coordinates to plug into Google Earth and find for yourself. It's awesome stuff. You got to know it. So let's get started.
Lines of latitude circle the Earth from east to west, while the lines of longitude circle the Earth from north to south. Geographers measure latitude and longitude in degrees. Each degree of latitude is about 69 miles, or 111 kilometers. Degrees of longitude work a bit differently. The lines converge at the poles and are widest at the equator, with a distance of approximately 69 miles, or 111 kilometers at that point. Lines of latitude and longitude intersect at right angles at the equator. The equator is the line of latitude that divides the Earth into the northern and southern hemispheres. At 0 degrees latitude, all locations north of the equator are written as N number of degrees. All locations south of the equator are written as S number of degrees. Lines of longitude begin at the prime meridian, which divides the Earth into eastern and western hemispheres. At 0 degrees longitude, all locations east of the prime meridian are written as E number of degrees. All locations west of the prime meridian are written as W number of degrees. People are using the lines to crisscross the world every day. Ships and airplanes need to use the coordinates to navigate the oceans and skies, while travelers use the lines of longitude and latitude to find specific landmarks. You can use the lines of longitude and latitude in your own community to go geocaching to find treasures hidden where you'd least expect it.
You put your arm like this. This would be North and South Pole, and this would be the lines of longitude. The word long is kind of hidden in there, longitude. Put your hand like this. These lines were called latitude, and where those lines intersect on the planet, wherever those are, we can use those as pinpoints of where we're at, or where we're going, or maybe where things are located, and those are called coordinates. To help understand a little bit better, let's watch this clip.
When you see a set of geographic coordinates looking like this, or like this, you're reading latitude and longitude. Latitude represents north-south location, and longitude represents east-west location, usually listed in that order. By combining them, you can pinpoint any spot on the surface of the Earth. These coordinates aren't expressed in units of distance, but in degrees. Why? Because the Earth is a sphere. Imagine a line running from the equator to the center of the Earth, and then another line running from the center of the Earth to the north or south pole. These two lines make a 90-degree angle. All latitudes in each hemisphere can be represented by drawing a third line somewhere between them. So the equator would have 0 degrees latitude, and the North Pole would have 90 degrees north latitude, and a location halfway between the North Pole and the equator would lie at 45 degrees north. Same thing for the southern hemisphere, except you'd call it degrees south. Lines of longitude, also called meridians, run north-south and are used to measure position along the east-west axis. While the lines of latitude run parallel to each other, meridians converge at the poles and spread farthest apart at the equator, like the segments of an orange. Longitude is also measured in degrees, but its 0-degree line is known as the prime meridian, and it runs from the North Pole to the South Pole through Greenwich, England. So, if the prime meridian is 0 degrees, the opposite side of the Earth is 180 degrees, and lines in between are expressed as degrees east or degrees west, between 0 and 180. Let's say I wanted to go dig up a stash of hot loot from some coordinates I found written in a mysterious note. Even without looking at a map, we can start to make a guess where this would be. Since it's 43 degrees north, it's almost halfway between the equator and the North Pole, again halfway being 45 degrees. And since it's 89 degrees west, it's almost halfway west between the prime meridian and the opposite side of the globe, halfway being half of 180 degrees or 90 degrees. Based on this alone, you can guess it's probably somewhere in North America. But if we use a map or a digital tool like Google Earth, we can zoom in and see these coordinates lead us to the U.S. National Mustard Museum in Middleton, Wisconsin?
Well, okay then. The Mustard Museum. Wasn't expecting that. But what is really cool about that is there are places scattered across our planet that are pretty hidden, or at least not visible, because we as humans are on the ground level. Once you get into like an airplane or even farther into space, maybe looking at satellite imagery back at Earth, you can see things on our planet that you normally couldn't see. And there's some pretty interesting locations on our globe that I'm going to ask that you guys find. So here's what's coming your guys' way: a treasure hunt. Yep, that's right. I'm going to give you guys coordinates to 17 different locations on the planet. You know what coordinates are. You know they come from intersections on latitude and longitudinal degrees on our planet. And these locations are going to be surprising to you. So take a look at this Google form I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share my screen really fast, and you guys will be able to see what I'm talking about. Okay, you guys are taking a look at my internet again, but you're actually looking at a Google Doc that I made. I'm going to save this as a PDF and attach it to your Seesaw post today. And it's pretty easy for you guys to use. Again, you don't even have to open that. All you got to do is watch this video again and press pause. Essentially, it's like a digital worksheet. You guys will be able to search, look, the latitude and longitude of the following sites on our planet and see if you can identify what they are. Now, if this was a physical worksheet, you'd be able to write in your answer right here. In the meantime, just remember what they were. Maybe jot these down on a piece of paper next to you or in a sketchbook or something like that. And the idea is that you can actually highlight these if you are using the attached PDF, and hold down the command key and press C, and that will copy those coordinates. Now I've opened up Google Earth. I'm going to go ahead and launch Google Earth and show you how to plug in coordinates in Google Earth to find out exactly where is this location. You can go to the search button. We've been here before. You can see I've tried a few out. If I click here and hold down Command V, it will paste those coordinates down for me. Now, to you and I, a lot of times we're thinking, I don't know what these are. I would never plug this in. But Google Earth speaks in latitude, longitude language. It understands the Global Positioning System, or GPS, or Global Positioning Satellite. So you can go ahead and click Enter, and it's going to find that coordinate and zoom in. What's it bring us to? My goodness, it's bringing us to a strange location here in the desert, the giant triangle. That's right, unexpected for sure. Now I can actually click over here on this X. If I want it to stop spinning, it'll center up for me. I'll use my two fingers and slide those together, and I zoom out a little bit. And I can see that's what it is, a huge triangle in the desert. Now I have a certain setting, and yours might be set that way, where I can see photographs people had shared to Google Earth. And if I click this, I get a little indicator of maybe some guys that were on their motorcycles and took a picture of the giant triangle, or at least the center of it. Let's check this one out. Yep, just like I expected. Doesn't look much like much from the ground level, but from up here in the air, this is the view we get. And if I zoom out, you can see that triangle is actually pretty big and visible from, I don't know, almost space. Zoom way out and you can see our planet kind of come back together. All right, so if we go back to the worksheet, we've completed number 1, and we'll be able to type in right here the giant triangle. Now the search has just begun. You have 16 more locations to visit. And let me remind you, if you guys are on Google Earth, you can hold down the command button and then use your free hand to zoom in and out or to change the angle of what you're seeing, because some of these locations might be hard for you to understand at the moment until you zoom back out or you turn the screen around. There's other locations you're gonna find that lead you to cool places that you're gonna wanna zoom out and actually explore more of that location. So just have a ball with this today. I know that it was for me. I've enjoyed teaching this over time too to my students, to just see the surprises on their faces when they discover what they're looking at. So good luck today on your Google Earth treasure hunt. Take care.